people to greatness, who gets people unstuck, who unlocks all of your passion. A coach who helps people discover what drives them, to tap into their superpowers. That knowing your why is the first step to untap potential, to focus, to breakthroughs. A coach who's looking for a better way. Are you that coach?
Hello, Kimberly, and welcome to Why Not Wednesday. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome everybody who's watching out in LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. We have a lot. We're on 3 different channels, and I'm so excited to have you on, Kimberly. We met a few weeks ago, had a great connection, and we talked about a lot of things. But of course, one of the first things we talked about was your why operating system. You went through the why discovery, and we found out that your why is to make sense of the complex and challenging. Your how is to find a better way and share it with others, and your what is to contribute to the success of others. So we're going to talk about that, but let's introduce you properly. So Kimberly is a relationship growth strategist. She's a TV show producer and a show host for Faith Rising Field of Fire. She's an ambassador for Rhino XR Studios. And one thing all of those 3 roles have in common is that she's building quality relationships. She wants to emphasize the word growth and how it doesn't mean perfection. How did I do with that introduction?
That was fantastic. And I just want to highlight the point on the growth. A lot of times when we are making strides and moving forward, a lot of us battle with that perfectionism, right? But growth means not perfect.
Right. Well, you're growing, and you're growing into something better, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're perfect, then you wouldn't have room for growth. Yes. Right. So you don't have to have perfection. I love that. So we got a lot of people tuning in and saying hello. Jody Bondi is saying hello from Indiana. I think you've met her. Watson Jordan always tunes in. Thank you so much, Watson, for tuning in from the Carolinas. And Esther Jones, she's one of our newest members, and we're going to have her on the show soon. She's saying hello, Kimberly. Watson says you guys are almost twins. I bet he's talking about your WHY.os. And of course, we always have Melanie Ake, who joins us almost every week. So make sense, better way, contribute. That's your WHY.os. She loves that. She's in the house, she said. So, all right, Kimberly. So tell me about when we discovered your why operating system. So you're an innovator. You're somebody who's always looking for a better way. You do that. You're looking to make sense of the complex and challenging, but you do that by finding better ways so that you can ultimately contribute to your clients. How did that feel to you when we did that?
Oh my goodness. It felt absolutely like, whoa. Yeah. This couldn't even be more true. And I was even thinking about it more today and really thinking about the power of my experiences, right? That's where that comes from. It comes from that growth piece. It comes from moving forward, not in a perfect way. A lot of times, a big mess. But now I'm here as a relationship growth strategist. So it felt fantastic.
So you make sense of the complex and challenging for your clients. So you're somebody who can take in a lot of information, take in a lot of data, and come up with solutions. And so that's your why. Now, how you make sense of things is by finding better ways to make sense of things, right? So you find better ways and then you share them, ultimately contributing to the success of your clients. You said that was a perfect fit. Where in your career have you come up with an example of time that you made sense of something by finding a better way and ultimately contributing to the success of a client?
Oh my goodness, Dan. It started years ago, right? Because I remember this one specific instance where I was sitting with a parent. And she was having a challenge with her tween. And it was like, she wanted to go in a different direction. But then when we talked about it, and I kind of laid out a variety of different solutions, a variety of different paths, she realized that, maybe the way she was going to approach the situation was not necessarily in her best interests, or more importantly, her family's best interests. So moving forward was really powerful. A more recent example, if I could share, definitely was someone that is coming to mind where they weren't necessarily sure. They had a coaching program that they were creating, and they weren't necessarily sure how they were going to move forward with that. But through a series of conversations on that coaching program, I'm telling you, it came to fruition. I mean, in that for me, oh my gosh, that floats my boat.
Love that. Well, and I love your focus is relationship building as a contributor. So you've got contribute in your what, that is my why. So a lot of what I do, a lot of what I love, where I thrive is in building relationships. Tell me what it means to build relationships with results.
Oh my goodness. Well, it wasn't always that way. And sometimes, like I said, keep in mind with that growth piece, right? So if you're listening in and you're like, hey, wait a second, I put in the effort, I move forward, but I'm not always seeing the results. Keep moving, because there is a better way, and you'll find it. You'll absolutely find it. So for me, oh my gosh, Dan, can you remind me what you just asked me?
So the question was about relationships with results, right?
Yes. So were you asking me specifically?
Yeah. So what does that mean, right? Relationship with,
So what that means is you start out just building that relationship, right?
Right.
You start out building it. And then once you determine, I like to use the term containers. I often put people in containers. And depending on what container they are going to go in, right? It's about continuing to nurture the relationship. And really now shifting into really, how can I get to know you as a person? And can I share a quick story here for a moment?
Absolutely.
The other day, I had gotten on a call with someone who I had been networking with prior to. I got on a call with the gentleman, and I had asked him a question. I had asked him, I want to catch up with you. I want to find out what is going on. And it was so interesting because out of that conversation came a 30-minute elevator on his products and his services and everything that was going. So now I get that, because in this growth journey, I was absolutely there at one point, right? So it's about having grace and compassion for that. It's about having grace and compassion and know that, you were there once too. So you need to kind of show him a better way. So what ended up happening is I connected him to some resources that would be important for him as he embarked on a new business journey for himself, because I want to see people win. That's what it's about. I want to see people win. I don't want them to, feel like there's not a better way. I want to point them in the direction to a better way. And if that means they get to learn from my mistakes, that's exactly what they're going to do.
And that's your contribute coming out, right? You want to see people win. What we find is when you have the why of contribute in your top 3, you want to push people forward. You want to help them succeed. And even though he may have made a mistake tactically, you knew that his intent was good. So you looked for that good and you said, hey, I'm going to show him a better way. Let me solve that problem for you, right?
I love it. And people are coming to me all the time asking me, I have this. Do you know how I could move forward?
Right.
what would be a good way to move forward with this? I've got you. Give me a little bit. Let me think about it. Give me the information. I'm going to process it for you, and I'm going to show you a different way.
I love that. So you're also, you're also a TV show producer. So this is really cool. Tell us about Faith Rising Field of Fire. What is that all about?
Oh, Dan, it's my heart. It's
Yeah.
my heart. It's my purpose. And I think somewhere, I think actually Melanie Ake in the group was talking about purpose this morning. But purpose, to me, it's faith-based. It's for me, it's God-led. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean, for those who might be listening, if that's not your jam and it's something else, if it's
Yeah.
crystals or something else, that, I'm not walking with you. I'm walking with you. But what is Faith Rising Field of Fire? Oh my goodness. We are on a mission to heal humanity. And how we are absolutely doing this is we are highlighting social entrepreneurs, and how we are defining the social entrepreneur
Yeah.
is we are defining the social entrepreneur as someone who has a 501c3 or a
Mhm.
social project. They are on the ground and they are doing the work. May I
Right.
give some examples?
Yeah, because one of the things you said is you're looking for social that 501c3s with a social project that are solving a problem in the world,
Mm.
right? So yeah, give me an example.
Oh my goodness. One of my favorite examples is this gentleman in Vietnam. Well, he's an expat from Vietnam. His home
Okay.
base is LA, but he's in his home country. And every time I talk to him, I really feel his love, not only for what he's doing
Right.
in the world to heal humanity, but what he's doing for his home country. What
Mhm.
he's doing for his home country is creating more sustainable farming practices.
Right.
And it is just, and not only that, he's impacting women. So he has a team out there in
Right.
Vietnam creating more sustainable farming practice. And he's also impacting how women are viewed in his country.
Mhm.
And he came out this year with his very own product to kind of move his project forward and fund it. And every time he is taking strides. Can I share one more?
Sure, of course.
I get so passionate about this. So another one is a dear friend, Paula Lowe's. And Paula Lowe's is, by trade, she is a set designer in LA,
Mhm.
but she has a passion. So during COVID,
Mhm.
she realized she was looking at a roll of toilet paper. And I know this is going to sound really silly to a lot of us. It did when I first heard it. But you look at a roll of toilet paper and you think about the consumption of that toilet paper. Well, we
Right.
often just use it, we often just view it as a product, right?
Right.
No, it's so much more. It has such an impact globally
Right.
on our world that she has an initiative called Toiless Paper, reducing the amount and the consumption of toilet paper,
Uh-huh.
and is on a mission. She is a woman with a mission. So
Mm.
those are just a couple of examples of some really powerful social entrepreneurs out there that are really honestly healing humanity. So yeah, we're building our community out, Dan.
So there's people out there that have social causes, right? And then there's
Yes.
people out there that are entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs are trying to build their business. There's sometimes corporate exiles that have decided, hey, I don't want to be a corporate guy anymore or gal. I want to be my own boss. So they're building their own business. And then on the same side, you have people who are just they have a social cause, but it's on the side. So social entrepreneurship, what I'm seeing is they bring it together and they're funding that social cause, like your gentleman in Vietnam. So what's his product that he's using to fund his cause?
Oh, you're going to love this one. So it's a snack product. So
Uh-huh.
what he had to do, and the challenge that he had to overcome, right? The challenge he had to overcome was getting the buy-in from the farmer. The farmer is thinking, why in the world? And this project started out because um, farmers in Vietnam, and I don't know if anyone knows this piece,
Yeah.
but farmers in Vietnam are often sold tainted fertilizer for their crops.
Okay. Didn't know that. So what does
Yes.
that mean?
So what that means is you need fertilizer,
Right.
especially because of the conditions of the soil.
Right.
You need that fertilizer. You're sold that with the little money that you have
Right.
to feed your family. And lo and behold, these crooks, I call them, are doing this, taking the farmer's money. Not only is the farmer not able to feed their family, but I mean, how devastating.
Right.
So anyway,
Right.
back to the product. So he had to get the buy-in from the farmer. He
Right.
had to get the buy-in from the farmer. So he created a snack product. He created a snack product that was appealing to the children,
Right.
but also appealing to the farmer because he
Uh-huh.
could buy in, because to get him to buy in to the fact that he needs to implement this sustainable practice, this organic practice,
Right.
what do I need that for?
Right.
And even though Mike had is a community member,
Right.
they still, think about it from an entrepreneurial standpoint. They
Right.
were still not buying in.
Right.
It didn't matter if he was from that country. They still weren't buying in. But when they saw that product, tasted that product, they started buying in. So I can't wait to connect up with him again to see where the project has moved again. But so exciting.
Awesome. So, one of the things we talked about, I had one of our, Sonia Shelton, who was a guest, and she talked about the common saying, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And she says, culture and strategy should have breakfast together. And I think of it that way too, especially in the world of sales. There's a lot of great salespeople out there, and they say the key to their success is relationships. And there's a lot of very successful salespeople who say the key to success is sales, whether or not you get relationships. You've kind of married the two, right?
I love it. I love it. Yes.
So you have to have that relationship to get those results. But where else are those, because you're a relationship growth strategist.
Mm-hmm.
How do you when you look at relationships, you look at growth and strategy, how do you bring the three together? What is it? What is a relationship growth strategy?
That's so interesting, right? Because again, we look at that term growth,
Right.
Right? We're always building relationships. So if you looked at a piece of pie and you looked at, you divided it all up in the wheel of life and looked at the different dimensions in our life, in our relationships, everything bleeds over.
Yeah.
But everything requires you to have some quality of relationship. Think of your homes.
Yeah.
How can you have any influence in your home if you don't have a relationship with the people in the building?
Right.
You can't influence them. You just cannot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to have that relationship in order to influence. And I like to use that example when it comes to kids. Very important. If you don't have a relationship with your children, how can you influence them? So what can you do? You just create a new growth plan, right? A different strategy. Same thing in business. You have the relationship, you have the growth aspect, and then you have the strategy. So you're building that relationship,
right?
And you're using different strategies to do it. And all along you're growing.
Got it.
Yes.
That's really fantastic. I want to recognize some of the comments. Watson Jordan said purpose, purpose, purpose. And Jorge is, now people are commenting on each other's comments. So Jorge says, I like your comments, Watson Jordan. So kudos, Watson, for bringing in some great comments that are getting recognized by the audience. So, one of the other things I want to make sure we talk about is you've got a book that you're going to be that you're working on, and how far along are you with that book? And tell us the title of it.
Oh my goodness. It's the Corporate Woman's Handbook to Effective Leadership in Everyday Life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so and you talk about relationships there too. So tell us what's going to be in that book that is going to make people want to go pre-buy it today.
Oh my goodness. Growth and strategy. Growth and strategy, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be leading. We're going to lead, empower, and thrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Women, I just had this conversation the other day. As a woman, if we look at the trajectory of where we were and where we are now, boom,
Yeah.
wow, amazing. We're really taking our place at the helm. We're really taking our place at the helm. We have ways to go, but we're really, really doing all that we were created to be. So this book is going to be the go-to guide for women, especially women in corporate, women in leadership. When you're looking at that next level promotion, maybe you want to have that promotion in your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to have greater influence in your home,
right?
It's all together.
I talked about in our post today that if you want to talk about, if you are a corporate woman looking for relationship advice, whether it's personal or professional, then we got to talk to Kim, right?
Yeah.
So you're writing the book. So now you can say, I not only gave you that advice, I wrote the handbook on effective leadership in everyday life. So that is fantastic. So Manaka, I hope I said your name right. Put it in the comments. She says, sharing a common purpose is the secret. Mm-hmm. And so thank you, Manaka, for commenting. There's something else you're moving into. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff going on, Kimberly. How are you going to move, let's talk about moving your business into the future with virtual reality. I saw that this morning and I had to ask about it.
Oh my goodness. I love that, that you asked. So thank you so much. When we think of our businesses, if we learned anything from this pandemic, is that we need to be equipped. We don't just need to be equipped in our business, but we're talking about business. So when we think of in terms of business, we need to be equipped. How can we scale our business, right? Mm-hmm. And get greater results, right?
Right.
Use that strategy. We can do it with virtual reality. I'm telling you. I just saw an article, and I'm going to take it off business if I could, just for a second.
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Okay, just read an article on the genome meets the metaverse. So imagine this. Imagine that anywhere in the world, right? Yeah. You could have access to a physician. Mm-hmm. That because of epigenetics, because of everything that's going on in healthcare, you could choose any physician anywhere in the world. Think about it. Amazing. Yeah. The metaverse. Without that technology, without that innovation, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Right.
So, and we could go through the different aspects of our world. We could go through art. We could go through music. We could go through many different things. The metaverse, the technology, is an absolute tool. So why not entrepreneurs, business owners? Why don't we use it? We're coaches, we're authors, we are educators. Right. Why don't we use this tool to scale our business? And I love it.
So I think we have we've talked with other entrepreneurs using the internet, using the metaverse is what you're talking about in virtual reality. So are you saying a physician you can reach any physician in the world where there's an internet connection, basically?
Well, not necessarily that. When we're looking at the epigenetics, so when we look at epigenetics, we can actually read our body system now. So like we can take some tests and we can find out what is going to make our body run the most efficiently, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So take that technology that we have with epigenetics and then merge that with the metaverse, merge it with that technology. Now, when you do that, and if anybody's interested, I can tag you in the article so you can start educating yourself on this because it's so important for the future of us, even as a business owner. We want to,
Excellent.
these are our machines. We want to run efficiently
Right.
so we can make the most impact out there.
Let's make sure we put that in the comments after the show's over so that people can be able to follow that. Absolutely. And then you can put a link to the post for sure.
Yes.
Bill Summers says he recommends reading Inclusify by Stephanie Johnson also. So I don't know if I think that's probably more having to do with relationships and working with the Corporate Woman's Handbook. You know, there's one more thing that I have to ask, and we ask this of every guest, Kimberly. Tell us about your biggest why not moment, a time when you said why not to an opportunity, a circumstance, a choice, and it made a significant positive impact for you.
You know, that's really interesting. So I think I mentioned to you that I had a transition. So I was at home with my boys. I had 25 years experience. And I was thinking, what's the next level I can serve? You know, like how can I use my gifts and talents to serve at a higher level? And I started coaching. And I started out with just a broad audience of family, very passionate about that. And then I had an opportunity through a networking group to participate in a competition. And my first response was like, I don't know if I really want to do this. I mean, what do I need to do that? I need to coach more people.
Right.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. And they say our children are our greatest teachers. My son had whispered in my ear and said, you know, Mom, if you don't try, you don't know. And it was really powerful. And I did it. You know, I did it. And I am now just realizing some of the life lessons and some of the growth that occurred because of it. So that would be one of my big ones.
So what was the name of the competition?
It was called the Next Impactor, and it was about impact. And at the time, I'm thinking, you know, like, how am I, you know, do that? But as a natural unfolding, as a natural evolution, I now know that it was almost like God, you know, speaking through me, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes, you know, we talk about it in our morning group all the time that, you know, those obstacles that you face, those challenges that you face, those things that you think at the time, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this, are actually getting you ready for that next step. And it sounds like for you, that's exactly what you did.
Oh my goodness, Dan. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was just, one of those things like, I'm not really feeling this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't even understand it. Now I do.
So as a relationship growth strategist, who is your ideal client, Kimberly? Who do you love to work with?
The corporate woman. So I love working with the corporate woman. I work with gentlemen too, but especially with this collaboration, it's the corporate woman. You know, I am passionate about helping support her and giving her those tools and strategies so she can light herself on fire and do what she was called to do in every aspect of that, in everyday life.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what do you want to say to our audience? We've got only a couple of minutes here. What's the one thing we haven't asked? What do you want to make sure we know about Kimberly or about your business or your ideal client or what projects you're involved with right now?
I'd say the one thing that I want to walk away today is on my heart is the impact that is happening because of Faith Rising, Feel the Fire.
Yeah.
Now, often we hear that it is, well, you're just doing a show. Everybody's doing a show.
Right.
But I am speaking to you right now. The platform is just that. It is a platform. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with vanity. So when I say, if you know a social entrepreneur, if you know someone with a social project, we need to talk to them. Think about this from the perspective. that it's more than that. It's healing humanity.
Right.
It's healing humanity. That is why we are here.
Mm-hmm.
We are here for that. Each and every one of us, each and every one of us on this planet was created for impact.
Yeah.
Now imagine if each and every one of us looked and searched inside ourselves
Right.
for that impact.
Mm-hmm.
Well, talk about a legacy.
Exactly.
Talk about doing what we were called to do.
Right.
Not only that, think about what our younger generations are doing. Look at child abuse rates. Look at mental health rates. My testimony, this comes from my testimony, was 15. Get out of yourself. Get out of your own way. Look outside what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And your problems are nothing, honey. They're nothing. So Faith Rising is impacting not just a show.
Right.
It's a platform. It's a platform to heal humanity, to change what our children are consuming and taking in, to reduce those mental health rates in all of us.
Yeah.
Let's do it. But we have to do it together. We have to do it in community. We cannot do it alone. I cannot do it alone.
That is a great way to finish. I love that. Lynn Everard says we were created for impact. Yes, with an exclamation point. So I'm going to say, why don't we call it a wrap? Why not?
Why not?